Welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian. I'm streaming to you from beautiful Central Europe here in Budapest, capital of Hungary. I hope everybody is having a fantastic week so far. Hi, Anna. Hi, Honey. Hi, Abhishek. Welcome, members. Good to see many of our regular students as well. Hi, Eldor. Hi, Faith. Yeah, Faith, I saw that. No worries, Faith. I will refund 3 of your payments. I think you were just clicking a few times too many on the purchase button, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. We'll refund your extra payments. No problem. Okay, and I got the email, so just wait a little bit and we'll take care of that later. All right, everyone, so welcome to this class. Right now we're focusing on IELTS reading, and we're going to talk about how to get Band 9 and how to get it fast. And it's going to be kind of interesting because it maybe is not what you think. It's not skimming and scanning. That's not the path to the Band 9. So again, this lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. On both of our websites, we have lots and lots of materials to help you to improve quickly your communication, your English, and of course, your reading skills. Our academic website looks like this with the blue background. You can click that big red button to join us there. And for the general IELTS, it's the green background, and you can click that big red button to join us there. We are an official British Council IELTS test registration center in Saudi Arabia. And we are official British Council certified agents. So if you have questions for us, let us know. We are here to help you. And we have some new Instagram accounts for academic IELTS. Follow us on Instagram, IELTS_AEhelp. And for general IELTS, follow us on Instagram, GIELTShelp. And you can use the code INSTA25 for a 25% discount at aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com to save on our premium package. Hi, Eugene. Always love that panda and that cat. Brings a smile to my face. Questions? Send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com. If you like physical IELTS exam books with paper, pencil, get our books from Amazon. AE Helps Academic IELTS, GE Helps General IELTS. Tomorrow we will have some more reading, and we will also have writing for our members, so be ready for that. Right now, let's get into today's reading passage. This is actually passage 3 or section 3 coming from our general IELTS textbook. However, general IELTS passage 3 or section 3 is pretty much the same idea as academic, okay? So this is where academic and general IELTS are very similar, okay? The listening and the the listening and the speaking part of academic and general IELTS, it's exactly the same. The reading passages, section 1, section 2 for general is different, but section 3 is pretty much the same as academic. And then task 1 writing is different, but task 2 is very similar often between general and academic. So keep that in mind in case you're looking for materials to study from. Okay, so here we go, everyone. Let's do this together. All right, so first things first, read the title. Always read the title. Never skip the title. Some students make the first and one of the biggest mistakes in their reading by just ignoring the title. They think, oh, I'll just start reading and I'll figure it out. No, don't do that, okay? So read the title. It will give you an idea of the passage. So here we have the title. Let me just get this maximum size so you can really see these letters even if you're on mobile. Okay, so here the title is Music and Technology. Are we really hearing the artist? It's a question title. When you have a question title, you can imagine that the author will answer the question yes or no, or the question will remain unanswered. You have to think about it. So music and technology. Are we really hearing the artist? What do you think this title means? So the first question you should ask yourself is, what is this passage going to be about based on the title? Okay. So what do you think? Music and technology. Are we really hearing the artist? What do you think this passage will be about? Sammy says, can you darken the screen a bit? I can do that, Sammy. There, and I can even bring up the focus a little bit for us. There you go. All right. So Kashirsha says it's going to be something about audio tune. What do you mean about audio tune? Sammy says it will be about music and authors. Abhishek says might be something about the fact that they're using software. Yeah, Moria, very good. So Moria says technology can alter the voice of the artist. Yeah. Artist or the singer. Okay. Let's get into a little bit of critical thinking. What should we ask next? Okay, so always think critically about the title. So you read the title and you think critically about it. So you consider some ideas. What is a good question to ask next? Okay, so that was some good thinking by some students. So you're saying, yeah, technology can change or alter the voice of the artist. For Dobbs, not just how yet. Okay, remember your steps here. Before you think of how, for Dobbs, there's a question that you should ask before that. So what's the question? Sandeep says, are we really hearing the musician or the technology? Elise says, how to modify the sound? And I think there's a better question before we ask. Okay. Abhishek's right on. So Abhishek says, why are they using technology? So that would be the next question I would ask myself before reading is why would anyone use technology to change the voice of the artist? Okay, and the answer, why would somebody do that? So why would somebody play around with computer software to change it? So the logical set of questions when you're developing ideas is what, why, how? What, why, how? What, why, how? Always, okay? Ali says to improve it. Deep Cover says because they have no talent. Sammy says to make it more attractive. Furkan says to make a better impression. Abhishek says to improve the background and vocal tune. Lauren says editing. Erkin says to make it sound more perfect. Bakrat says to add improvisation. Moria says for better acoustics. All right, so lots of answers, right? And that's what we want to think about, okay? So to improve the pitch and tone of the singer, to give it a unique sound, to help the acoustics, okay? Yeah, so all of those are possible reasons for playing around with technology and helping the singer. Okay, and how? So how do we do it? Now that's the next question. So how can technology be used to improve the voice of the author? Okay, so always students, when you're thinking about the title, think of what, why, how. So what, then why, and then how. Okay, that's logical, right? Okay. Moria says by using editing software. Divya says by using graphics. I don't know how that would work. Deep Cover says by using auto tune. Yeah. Okay, so by using editing software, by auto tune, sure. Okay. Taranjit says by using technological instruments. Yep. Computers. synthesizers, right? So equipment, live or recorded, right? So all kinds of ways that we can do this. Good. All right, this is what you want to do. So when you're reading, and when you read the title, like music and technology, are we really hearing the artist? And then you think about that and you come up with, well, what is this passage going to be about? Technology can alter the voice of the artist or the song. Why would somebody do that? So that they improve the pitch, the tone, make it sound better, give it a unique sound. Okay, how can they do that? By using editing software, live performances, using computers. That's exactly how fast that has to happen. So the way I just did it in like 30 seconds, all of this is happening in 30 seconds, okay? So practice this at home so you can do all of this predicting, let's call it like this, predicting in 30 seconds, okay? You don't need to do this in minutes, 30 seconds, okay? Everybody good? TB Damak, no problem in frame rates. It's all good. It's a super low latency stream. That's why I can see your comment almost in real time. That's not possible with other latency streams. Okay, so 30 seconds for all of this, yeah? Everybody's clear on that? So practice it so that you can do 20 to 30 seconds for title prediction. It's not minutes, it's seconds that you're doing this, and you have to be accurate. The better, the faster, the better you will be. Amrita, Vaishnavi, Furkan, Surya, very good. Yep, honey, good. All right, okay, all right. Hayat, your exam is tomorrow. Do practice exams. Check where you're making mistakes and fix those. That's what the last thing that you can do, the last second preparations. There's a video, by the way, Hayat, on the channel that's focusing on last-minute preparations for IELTS. It's an HD video. Check it out. Okay, so let's go back. Next step. So we got the title. Check. That's done. Okay. Next step. Look at the questions. Questions can help you as long as they're helpful questions. There's two kinds of questions. Helpful questions, not helpful questions. Okay. Helpful, what's the difference? Okay, so let me kind of, and I've never said it this way, but it's true. Two types of questions. One is helpful questions, and the other is unhelpful or non-helpful. Instead of saying not helpful, I'm actually even going to say bad, or not bad questions, but let's call them misleading questions. Okay, so what are helpful questions? Okay, yeah, Divya, you can also say useless questions. Absolutely. Divya Patel says useless questions. Yeah, there are those useless questions. They're not just useless, deceptive. Very good word, Surya. Deceptive questions. Yeah, or confusing questions. Okay, so helpful questions. Helpful questions are questions that are in the passage somewhere. Lauren says real questions. No, they're somewhere in the passage. So questions that are in the passage somewhere. Okay, these are like matching information, summary completion. Okay, questions. So there's a few of them. Okay, and not helpful questions or misleading questions are like multiple choice question answers, true, false, not given. Okay, these are questions that are not in the passage. So information that is not necessarily in the passage. Okay, so those are the misleading questions. All right. Yeah, Sammy, fill in the blanks also. Okay, absolutely. So only review the helpful questions before the passage, okay? Yeah, absolutely, okay? That's very important. So only review the helpful questions before the passage. The only exception is list of headings, but I'm not going to get into that right now. We don't have list of headings in this passage, so that will be for another time. Here we go. I'll show you what I mean. So which paragraph contains the following information? Write the correct letter A to F in boxes 28 to 34 on your answer sheet. This is a helpful type of question because all of these 7 questions will be somewhere in the passage, okay? So an example of an imperfect artist, the usage of tone correction software for the aesthetic experience. Again, students, this is a reading class, so make sure you're reading with me, okay? Read aloud if you can, okay? Eliminating mistakes is the goal of humanity. A key moral difference in the usage of tone correction software. A sports analogy. Lack of clarity about what a concert goer is really hearing and the origins of tone correction software. Okay, good. Now, ideally, you want to paraphrase those as well when you're practicing at home to get some more ideas. Here we have some multiple choice questions. So again, the answers are not helpful. Don't read the answers. Don't focus on the answers. They will confuse you, okay? There's lots of unnecessary extra information. Just read the question. What does tone correction software do? And then change it to a statement. Tone correction software helps to make the voice of the person perfect. I don't know. We'll finish that statement after we read. How did rudimentary usage of the software differ from modern usages? The modern use of editing software for audio is different from the early usage of this software in that, okay? So I'm just kind of thinking of how to make it into a statement. How do artists like T-Pain and Cher use the software? So Cher and T-Pain use the software in these ways. Okay. And then, we have the true, false, not given. Forget about it. Wait until the end of the passage. No point to read that, and it's just confusing. Okay. Now, for Band 9s, you do have to read the passage, especially Section 3. So the only place where you can do a little bit of skimming and scanning without necessarily reading, I hate even saying this, is Section 1 and 2 of the General IELTS. But Section 3 in the General IELTS and all of the academic passages, you should never, ever just try to skim and scan for answers. It does not work to get scores higher than 5.5 or 6. Simply because the questions are made in such a way that you cannot skim read for them. It takes too much time, or it's virtually impossible because you need to have a complete idea of the paragraph or the passage to answer them. Okay, so IELTS examiners aren't stupid. They know that students are trying to take shortcuts by skimming and scanning. So they make the passage so you can't do that. Okay, it's very simple logic, so careful with that. To get high band scores, you have to read. So remember what I said? I said this class is about reading Band 9 and fast. Reading Band 9 and fast means that you're using effective study strategies, the same strategies you can use in college and university to understand, process information, and answer questions effectively. Okay? All right. Let's do this. Let's read, everyone. Okay? So here we go. Let's do this together. All right. Okay, so from the top, always read the title, Music and Technology. Are we really hearing the artist? Let's do this together. So visualize, think about what you're reading, Okay? Be a part of it. You're a musician. You are a musician. You're singing. Okay? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. I'm not a big singer, but I can imagine that I'm a singer and visualize that I'm a part of this. Okay? And I'm using some editing software. All right? Okay, here we go. So, from the top. The pursuit of perfection is one of the driving forces behind humanity. But is perfection really the right goal? Can perfection even be a bad thing? Some music critics think so. Through the use of software that automatically corrects incorrect notes, today's musical artists are no longer giving us a real version of their voice. We hear an idealized or perfect version of their voice, driven by the quest for perfection. It seems we may have lost some of the soul and humanity of previous musical eras. Okay? Now, in my mind, as I'm reading this, I always ask a question. What is the question you think that I ask after reading the paragraph? What do you think I ask myself? And of course, I answer the question. So, after I read a paragraph, I always internally ask a very important question. And I don't just ask it, I always internally ask and answer a very important question. Yeah, very good, Abhishek. I asked the question, what is the paragraph about? Okay, so here I ask myself, what is this paragraph about? Okay, and then I answer it. Okay, so the question I always ask myself is, what is this paragraph about? What is this paragraph about? So answer this question for me. What is this question? What is this paragraph about? Don't assume, Laren Mavia, originality, you're formulating the paragraph. It's not exactly what it's about. Aziz Beck, I'm not sure where you're going with that. Hossam, it's not just about music. Ferdov says perfection is not always good. Yeah, so there's a bit more in there. Concise but complete. Always be concise but complete. Nowadays, musicians pursue perfection, but this is not necessarily good. All right. That's what I think it's about. Nowadays, musicians pursue perfection, but this is not necessarily good. Would everybody agree that this is the main point of this introduction? That nowadays, musicians they're after that perfect voice, but this is not always good. Okay, Nishant, definitely don't forget what you read in the paragraph. It's hard to get a high band score if you're forgetting what you read. Actively read always and ask the question, okay? All right, yeah, you agree. So what you're going for always when you read is make sure that your answer to this question is complete and concise, okay? So you don't need 5 sentences, just 8-9 words, all right? All right. Push says, I don't agree with you. Okay, Push, let me know what you think this paragraph is about, and we can discourse, okay? All right. If you don't agree with me, you can always reread the paragraph, okay? It's not just, Ois says it's catching the main idea. Yes, it is catching the main idea in a very concise way, but it's also catching the complete idea, Ois, okay? All right, everyone, so let's keep going. You'll see why this becomes extremely important because I can keep a catalog in my mind of this information as well, okay? Here we go. Let's do this. So from the top, music from 50 years ago. Okay, so that was present day. Now I'm jumping into the past. Music from 50 years ago, even by the greatest singers, is riddled with small errors. Flat notes, poorly matched harmonies, and other imperfections give the work a certain human quality. But in the 1990s, computer software was developed that could correct these small imperfections. It would take a flat note and raise its pitch to where it was supposed to be. Likewise, a sharp note was lowered to its appropriate pitch. In its early years, this automatic tuning software was rather rudimentary and resulted in an artificial and electronic sounding note. It was very obvious to the listener that they were hearing an edited human voice. Soon, however, the software was developed to the point a song could be corrected and the audience would not know. Okay, so what is this paragraph about? It's about the emergence of voice editing software in the 1990s as compared to the past 50 years ago, where there were some mistakes even in the best artist's voice. All right, so now I'm going to keep reading. Okay, so again, complete, concise. C. Some artists use the tone correction software itself for aesthetic value. That is to say, they believe the resulting sound of rudimentary and electronic sounding corrections is aesthetically pleasing. Most music critics do not have a problem with this type of usage. Cher, the original artist to use correction software, successfully used it in this fashion. The American hip-hop artist T-Pain is notorious for using the software for this aesthetic effect. What is this paragraph about? It's about using voice correction software to give kind of a unique sound that's maybe appealing, okay? If any of you heard that song, Do You Believe in Life After Love by Cher, you'll know exactly what we're talking about here if you have that going on in your head. The Do you believe in life after love? It's horrible, but you get what I'm saying. It's computer software in there. All right, so let's keep going. Okay, very visual. And if you can relate to it, then definitely think about it. Okay. All right, so here we go. Okay, D, so why is it okay for artists like Cher and T-Pain to use the software but wrong for others? The answer is that Cher and T-Pain are not trying to deceive anyone. They are not presenting their songs as the product of their voices alone. Other artists, however, do present automatically corrected songs as their own. This is morally problematic since they are intentionally deceiving their audience. It is this deception that is one of two major points against the usage of this software. Okay, what is this paragraph about? It's about the ethical or moral usage of software. It's okay to use software to enhance the sound and make it interesting or different when it's noticeable, but it's not okay to trick your audience into thinking they're hearing a perfect song when it's not actually that way. So Ferdov says it's about cheating, and cheating is not okay, and that's one of 2 points against this. Okay? Okay, so that's one point. What's the second point then? Here it is. The author's doing a good job. 1 point, second point. The second point against using the software is that it actually has the opposite effect to that intended. Rather than reaching perfection, it has gone too far and become robotic. One can compare analogously to a game of football. People watching football and other sports love to see great players play and perform incredible athletic feats. We love greatness, but we do not desire perfection. Nobody wants to watch a football game played with perfect football-playing robots. The idea is absurd because it removes the humanity of the sport, and so it is with music. In making a song sound perfect, the singer is turned into something of a robot, devoid of all musical soul. The small imperfections are what give great songs their individual character. Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stones, for example, is notoriously prone to off-key notes. But this is part of who he is as a singer and what makes him great. An automatically corrected Mick Jagger would, the critics say, be inferior to the real thing. So this is the second point. And the second point is that perfect sounding music is actually not perfect. We like to see mistakes. We like to see imperfection in some forms, like in football and in music as well. All right, now we're down to, so Otis says people prefer the natural, imperfect voices. Yeah, absolutely, Otis. The originality, right? Okay, here we go. F, we have no way of knowing which artists use the software and which ones do not. Unfortunately, this software can now be used instantaneously and as such can be used in live performances. The next time you attend a concert, you might wonder to yourself if you are really hearing the artist or if you're actually hearing a kind of robot. You may lament the fact that if the artist is indeed using the software, you may be missing out on what might be an incredibly soulful, if imperfect, human voice. All right, so final paragraph conclusion is saying that software can be used in real time, and this might be a bad thing because we might actually be missing out on a much better performance. Okay, interesting argument. Let's look at some questions. So there we read the passage in roughly 12 minutes with me giving explanations and giving feedback. Okay, Sammy says it's about listening to the original or cheating. That's nice and concise, Sammy. Also, Sammy, remember, it's about using software in real time, right? So real-time correction, okay? Okay, so here we have to choose the letter of the paragraph. Reading passage 1 has 6 paragraphs, A to F. Which paragraph contains the following information? Write the correct letter, A to F. All right, so here we go, everyone. 28, an example of an imperfect artist. What's your answer? And then we'll choose the paragraph. Who is it talking about? Okay, after reading, visualizing, I'm sure most of you are familiar with this singer, or many of you are familiar with this singer. Who was it? Who was that singer? It was not Sharon T-Pain. Yeah, it was Mick Jagger, Moira. Very good. Mick Jagger, right? Mick Jagger. What paragraph did we read about Mick Jagger? So that was the second argument, right? Point number 2. There's A, B, C, D, E, F. Yeah, it was Mick Chittal, I agree. So all of you who remembered it was Mick Jagger. It was near the end. It was D, E, or F. So I'm going to go right into the middle and just check. Now, because I know that it's Mick Jagger, it's a name. So it's very easy to look for a name. Okay, so looking for a name is super simple. I can go back. And I remember it was near the end of the paragraph. Boom, there it is. So fast to find it. Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stones. This is paragraph F, so I know that that's paragraph E, right? Very quick and confident. Do you know how long it would take me to answer that question in the real exam? Doing or following the correct strategy. An example of a perfect artist is Mick Jagger. Mick Jagger is somewhere near the end. I'm going to look for his name. I'll find his name very quickly. I'm going to put in paragraph E. This answer would probably take me no more than 10 seconds. Okay, So I titled this class Band 9 and Fast. For Band 9 and Fast, okay, I'm going to go back to that for a second, the topic here. All right, remember, that's the topic of this lesson. Let's not forget the topic of the lesson, Band 9 and Fast. Band 9 and Fast really doesn't come from reading fast. Okay, so a lot of students think that to get high bands and to do well, you have to read fast. No, you have to answer fast and you have to answer with confidence, okay? So to get, this is a very important tip, to get a Band 9 fast in the reading section does not mean that you have to read fast. Instead, it means that you have to read in about 10 to 12 minutes and comprehend the text clearly. Then you have to answer fast and with confidence. Okay, makes sense? Does everybody understand what I mean by that? Okay. All right, Agman, I hope it went well for you. Okay, so being able to recall the information and answering fast, that's the trick. You don't want to spend 3 minutes on each question. Okay, spend a bit more time on your reading and spend less time on answering. Okay, that's the key. Okay, so and they're like, yeah, okay, got it. All right, very nice. Okay, fantastic. All right, so let's keep going and do this for the rest of them. Okay, here we go. Okay, number 29, the usage of tone correction software for the aesthetic experience. Okay, who comes to mind there? So what's the answer? Okay, the usage of tone correction software for the aesthetic experience. Immediately, as soon as you see that word aesthetic experience, you should have some answers coming to mind. This is where share and T-Pain should come to mind. I remember that was C or D, so I go back. I'm looking for share and T-Pain. Okay, here's Cher, the original artist, the aesthetic value, C it is. Again, very fast, right? So, takes a very short amount of time. So I put the answer C and I move on, okay? Eliminating mistakes is the goal of humanity. I don't need to look for this one. I know the answer without looking. What's the answer for this one? Who remembers from asking and answering, what is the paragraph about? I gave a very clear answer for this, so it's very quick for me. Furkan and Firdavs both say, yeah, that was A. That was the introduction. Perfection is the goal of people. So A it is. Very nice, okay? This is why, remember what I said? It's really important for active reading to know what each paragraph is about. Okay, very good. All right, 31. A key moral difference in the usage of tone correction software. What's the answer that comes to mind here? Okay, so don't give me the paragraph, give me the word. There was a word that was very clear for us here. It was in the passage. If I have to, I can look for it. I kind of know where it is. It's the first point against it. What was the word? Starts with a D. Yeah, so Van Nguyen says deceiving the audience. So deception. Yeah, deceiving deception. Very good, Van Nguyen. Boom, you get a huge thumbs up for that. That's what I'm looking for. I remember that was also kind of around C, D, somewhere in the middle, where it was talking about share, and then it was talking about, well, some people deceive the audience. So here it says, this is morally problematic since they are intentionally deceiving the audience. So this is D, right? Deceiving the audience. It's in the same paragraph as share. So I go back and I answer D. Okay, deceiving the audience. Okay, a sports analogy. Sports analogy. Immediately, robot football. Okay, robot football, I think, was in there with McJagger. Abhishek says E. I can check because I know it's robot. So I'm not skimming and scanning. Don't make the mistake thinking I'm skimming and scanning. I know what I'm looking for. I'm just making sure it's in the right paragraph. There's the word sports, but more importantly, because that could be misleading, I know I'm looking for robot football, and there's my robot. Football's playing robots, so that's my analogy, right? So E. Now, sure, so some of you might think, well, I would have just searched for sports. Yeah, but you'd be reading through a lot of useless information. Here I'm going exactly to the location, right? Okay, number 33, lack of clarity about what a concert goer is really hearing. Again, I don't need to search for that because of my Q&A, my active reading. I know exactly where that is. So number 33 is F. Very good, honey. Very good, students. So F, yeah. Am I really hearing the artists at the concert? Very nice. Okay. Okay. And the last one, the origins of tone correction software. The origins, where it originates from, where it comes from. I remember it was something about the 1990s, right? So again, that was near the beginning, not quite the introduction, but if I remember correctly, paragraph B. So again, very, very fast for me here. Music 50 years ago, and then, but in the 1990s, computer software. So B it is, okay? All right, very good. And lots of you are answering B. Very good, Moria. Very good, Sundar Singh. Oh, it's nicely done. Okay, so B, sure. Okay, so I put in B, and off to the races. Lots of confidence in my answers. They're going very, very quickly. Okay. All right, now I get to multiple choice. So multiple choice. What does tone correction software do? Okay. Answer. Tone correction software changes the notes, the pitch of the artist to make it sound perfect. I'm not looking for the answer in the choices, okay? Multiple choice questions, don't look for the answer. Think about the answer, then match your answer to one of the choices, okay? So corrects imperfect notes, turns humans into robots, turns poor singers into great singers, corrects sharp notes by making them flat. The closest answer to mine is A, corrects imperfect notes. So tone correction software changes the notes, the pitch, the artist to make it sound perfect. Corrects imperfect notes. I have perfect here. I have notes here. It's my closest match. Okay? Hopefully everybody's with me and clear on that. All right? So very important tip. Multiple choice. I think of the answer and then I match. I don't just look. Okay? Everybody's good? Yeah? With that, hopefully. All right. Next one. How did rudimentary usage of the software differ from modern usage? What's the answer? So how did rudimentary use differ from modern use? What's your answer? Okay. Van Nguyen says it's not noticeable. Van, I think you're on the right track. Give me a full sentence. Moria says it's evident for the listener. Yeah. So very good, Moria. Very nice. Okay. So you want to be able to answer on your own. So early use was noticeable for the listener, but modern use cannot be noticed. So you think it's deceptive. Right? Okay. Very good. So now I'm looking for a match. So rudimentary usage corrected imperfect notes. Modern usage cannot correct live performances. Both usages correct imperfect notes. Rudimentary usages were obvious to the listener. What's the best answer? Moria says the best answer is D, based on my answer, right, Moria? And you would absolutely get that answer correct. Okay, so rudimentary usages were obvious to the listener. D it is. Okay, absolutely. All right, very nice. Okay. How do artists like T-Pain and Cher use the software? Okay, they use it for original and aesthetic sound. Okay, that's what T-Pain and Cher use the software for. So let me see if anything matches. Yeah, Abhishek, aesthetically, absolutely. I can see that. Okay, so to negate aesthetic merit, for artistic effect, to improve their quality of sound, to avoid the immorality of using modern tone correction software. What is the correct answer? Honey, it is not A. Okay. Sammy, it's not A. Vaishnavi, it's not A. Negate means to stop, to limit. Okay, to limit aesthetic effect? No, that's the opposite, or merit. So the correct answer is artistic effect, B. Okay. Quality of sound, not necessarily to avoid immorality. It's for artistic. Aesthetic is synonymous to artistic in this case. Okay. It was a little bit difficult here because the question words themselves are a little bit more challenging, but the correct answer here is B. It's for artistic effect. Artistic effect is synonymous here with aesthetic effect, okay? They're not necessarily improving the quality of sound. They're doing it for artistic. So aesthetic, artistic, okay? B is the correct answer. That was a little bit challenging. Okay, true, false, not given. We have 3 of them. I'll go through these, show you how it's done so you know it for the future. Number 38. Many artists present tone-corrected songs as their own work. Is it important to know whether or not the author talks about this in relation to the topic? Yes or no? Because if it is important, it's going to be given. If it's not important, then it's not going to be given. So in this case, the author definitely includes this information because it's important to the passage that musicians are presenting tone-corrected songs as their own work. Is it true? Yes, absolutely. That's the problem with this software is that many artists are saying that, hey, this is me singing, but it's not really because your voice is being corrected. So 38 is given, it's true. 39, a lack of perfection can improve the quality of a song. Is it important to know whether or not not having perfection can make the song better? Yes, that's important. And is it true? Yes, it is. The example was Mick Jagger, right? So the answer is true. I don't need to search for it. These are very, very difficult to search for. It's much better if you can logically understand them. Okay. The software can be used by those in the crowd to tone correct a live performance. All right, so is it important to know whether or not people in the crowd or in the audience can use tone correction in a live performance to correct the song? It's weird, it's awkward, it's too much detail, so it's not going to be given. It's a strange concept. If you understand what it's saying, then it's strange, so it's not given. Okay, so true, too much detail, not given. Okay. All right. If you're still confused about true, false, not given questions, check out the HD true, false, not given reading video on our channel. Okay. So on our channel, do a search for true, false, not given, and you'll find an HD video where I do an entire lesson on just true, false, not given questions. Check that out. Okay. All right, everyone, so that's reading for today. Remember those tips. The key to Band 9 and fast on your IELTS exam is good comprehension through active reading and not spending a lot of time on the questions, but answering questions fast and with confidence. If you take a minute to answer one question, at that point, you have to be wondering, why is it taking me a whole minute to answer the question? Do I really know the answer, or am I just kind of guessing, right? So you shouldn't be spending that much time for each question. You should be spending 20, 30 seconds on a question at most, okay? Keep that in mind. That's it for today for the live streaming. I will be back tomorrow with more writing, more reading, so come back tomorrow and hang out with me for some more English and IELTS. You're very welcome, Lynn. Welcome, Real Diamond. Good to have you in the class. Bye, Anna. Have a great day. Much love to all of you. Keep up the good studies. I'm Adrian, signing out from Central Europe for now. Bye.